What's up, everybody? Welcome to part 2 of the Thomas Take Sports Podcast. Tonight is December 14th, 2016, broadcasting live from Buffalo, New York. Very excited to really expand this podcast as much as possible. Right now I'm working on my mini studio, and I'm really enjoying it. So it is a work in progress using my Beats by Dre headphones and mic, and also a plug for a sponsorship from the Thomas Take Sports Podcast. This is very cool news, very awesome news for my podcast to be sponsored. I think that's pretty cool. It is domehats.com. Domehats.com allows you to customize your own hat or add additions to hats that you have already purchased from Lids or Hat World or stores like that. I actually came up with a pretty cool idea for my fantasy football league, where the guys in my fantasy football league would be able to customize their own hats and kind of rock them for the draft. Dome Hats lets you customize their hats with fitted, curved, or fitted back brim hats. So it's been pretty awesome. The fact that they reached out to me and said that they would like to kind of sponsor me, being that I know someone that is one of the executives for the website. Pretty cool stuff. Domehats.com. You can actually customize your hat to a T of what you want. You could add a skyline to the brim of the hat. You could add a skyline to the actual hat itself. You can create your own logo. And order them online, and they're shipped, free shipping as well. So thank you guys. Thank you guys for sponsoring the Thomas Take Sports Podcast today. Hopefully that plug helps your site expand. That it was a pretty cool site. I've always wanted to order a hat from a customized place, but that kind of service is deteriorating. So thank you guys. Domehats.com. Check it out. So that being said, this part 2 segment is one that I'm very excited to delve into. The Los Angeles Rams, the first season of the LA Rams has been a complete disaster. There's no doubt about it. Jeff Fisher now fired with 3 games left to go. Todd Gurley voicing his frustrations with the LA Rams offense, saying that the offense is very middle school-like. This is a middle school offense. Those were his exact words, to the dismay of the Los Angeles media, to the shocking bewilderment of sports media. Really, Todd Gurley coming out and saying that this offense has been frustrating, the players are not responding, the players are acting like they don't care. That's actually a media's dream, a dream for a writer or a journalist to have a player basically come clean about what the media has already known for quite some time, especially one of Todd Gurley's magnitude within the team. He really is the best player on their offense, and his production has suffered mightily because of the fact that their offense has been completely dysfunctional for the majority of the 2016 season. That being said, Jeff Fisher gets fired. They're they're promoting their special teams coordinator as their head coach. So come the end of this season, the 2016 season, the Rams are in real dire need of hiring a coach that can bring them legitimacy, bring them some sort of positive reinforcement after all the negative, dull energy that has surrounded the team under Jeff Fisher. And the one guy that I think has been reported first and foremost, that I'm not surprised that his name was thrown out there, was Michigan Wolverines head football coach Jim Harbaugh. And initially I thought that would be an interesting fit. That would be interesting to see whether Jim Harbaugh would leave his alma mater, the school that has, pretty much given him everything in life, an education, a platform to turn pro, and then a platform to be a head coach. I can't see Jim Harbaugh turning away from that. I can't see him turning away from that to come back to the NFL. He left the NFL for a reason, albeit he was the head coach under the dysfunctional San Francisco 49ers ownership. But that being said, he could have stayed in the NFL, but Michigan gave him a huge opportunity to basically run the program in and out. And I don't see him turning away from that opportunity. I see him staying in Michigan, and I don't see him coming to the Los Angeles Rams. There's coordinators like Josh McDaniels, Kyle Shanahan, Darrell Bevell, guys that are hot head coaching candidates, but I don't see any of those guys putting their first pit stop in their career under the pressure situation that would be in LA. It's a new market. It's a new team again. It's like a Back to the Future style roster. A team, the brand of the LA Rams needs to be restored, and to take that on, it would have to be taken on by a guy that is fearless as a head coach, a guy that doesn't care what is said about him, a guy that tells it like it is, a guy that coaches with a huge chip on his shoulder. And I think personally the perfect fit for the Los Angeles Rams is a former head coach, a former Super Bowl winning head coach that is no longer coaching in the National Football League and hasn't for quite some time, that has been in the broadcast booth at ESPN for Monday Night Football, and that is John Gruden. And I'll tell you why. I think John Gruden is ready to come back to the NFL, contrary to what most people believe. I think he's kicked the tires on it for the last 3-4 years, and now he sees an opportunity to maybe be the face of a franchise that is very new. Although it once existed in the NFL, this is a new LA Rams, the new LA Rams. And he would own that better than any coordinator or coach currently in the NFL. And I think he would own that very well. First and foremost, the Los Angeles Rams have to find the right head coach that could help Jared Goff succeed. They gave up a ton of draft picks for him to be able to move up to the number 1 overall selection in the 2016 NFL draft to be able to draft Jared Goff. So that being said, they need to bring in a head coach that makes Jared Goff his first priority. And John Gruden loves his quarterbacks. He knows Jared Goff from his Cal days. John Gruden has kept more of a pulse on the college football ranks recently with his Gruden quarterback camp coverage and his coverage within ESPN. I think that has actually helped John Gruden as a analyst of football to actually analyze the game freely without the stress of the grind of being a head coach. And I think him coming back to the LA Rams would actually be the best move for him, because it's a situation where if he came back to the Rams, they're down and out right now, but they have pieces. They have a franchise quarterback. Jared Goff, the jury is still out. There's reason for the jury to still be out, but I think under John Gruden's guidance, I think Jared Goff could be what he needs. Jared Goff needs discipline, and John Gruden preaches discipline, and Todd Gurley as a running back would feast in John Gruden's offense. So, I think that would be the move to make, and as well as a fan attraction. The team needs a big splash hire, and bringing John Gruden out of quote-unquote semi-retirement would be a huge addition for the Los Angeles Rams. And also, it would provide the Rams team with the discipline that they really need right now. For Todd Gurley to come out and say that the players are playing like they don't care, John Gruden would make those guys care. Unlike Jeff Fisher, unlike Mike Martz in his past, he had instances with players, arguments with players where he just wasn't getting the players to respond to him. I think John Gruden would do the exact opposite. And as far as free agents go, John Gruden back in the NFL, Los Angeles Rams, new stadium is being built. I believe it'll be ready in 2019. So he's definitely a guy that could bring huge fan interest, and he could definitely be an attraction for free agents along the way, offensively or defensively. He would definitely have to bring in a defensive coordinator that would be willing to help him on the defensive side of the ball, because John Gruden's strengths are off on the offensive side of the ball. But that's what the Rams need right now. They need an offensive head coach. Their offense ranks dead last in points per game, yards per carry, virtually every major offensive statistic in the NFL this season. They are dead last or near last, and I think John Gruden would be the right fit. So with John Gruden, what would the plan look like? They obviously got to get weapons for Jared Goff, wide receiver, tight end. They obviously have to build a line. Their offensive line was supposed to be a lot better than what it is right now, and it's really not. Todd Gurley is legit. It's just the frustration and the morale of the team has been so low with Jeff Eeyore Fisher, as I like to call him. He reminds me of Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh. Chip Kelly is Winnie the Pooh. Jeff Fisher is Eeyore. They look almost to a T like those cartoon characters. And people laugh and say that it's funny when I say stuff like that. It is funny, but at the same time, it's very true. And I think that Jeff Fisher was one of the worst head coaches in the National Football League. And I'm happy that he was fired, because he really didn't deserve to keep his job. He might have been a great coach at one point in his career, but he's not anymore, not at this level. And hopefully for the 49ers' sake, their fans' sake, Chip Kelly would be next, because I think Chip Kelly is probably the next worst thing besides Jeff Fisher. So thank you guys for listening. Feel free to submit your fan questions at the Thomas Take Sports Podcast Facebook page. Tweet me at ThomasTake92. Submit fan questions on my Twitter as well. Or you can send me an email. Excuse me. You can send me an email, ThomasTake92@gmail.com. Send me an email. Tell me what you think of the show. Tell me, ask to come on the show. I love having guests on the show. I've had several guests, MMA writers, NFL writers, MLB writers, fans, people that I know, friends, really anyone. So I'm open to having anybody on the show. I enjoy this a lot. I enjoy sports. I enjoy writing about sports, talking about sports. So this is definitely something that I am enjoying. Started this podcast in January of 2016, watched it grow little by little, and I'm not trying to take the world over, but it would be nice if I could in the podcast realm, in the radio realm, any way possible. And if you guys were a part of that, that would make it even better. So like my Facebook page, Thomas Take Sports Podcast. Thank you guys for listening. John Gruden to the Los Angeles Rams. The head coach of the Los Angeles Rams should be John Gruden. That is my take on the LA Rams. Hopefully they lose out. Hopefully they get a low draft choice, because they really need it. Take care, guys.